My first memory of Valpo was when I came out here from New York to go to college, and coming from New York City to the little town of Valpo, and this is many years ago, 50 plus years ago. Valpo was this just tiny little Indiana town, and I fell in love with it right away, and I knew that I never wanted to live in a big city again. Well, first of all, the spirit of Valpo. It's a very giving and caring community. You know, it just seems like no matter what happens in our community, there's somebody somewhere that comes together and makes it a wonderful, a sad thing, a happy thing, whether it's building a home for someone, whether it's helping with Special Olympics, which you know is my love, whether it's helping with the food pantries. Plus, I think it's a very God-fearing community, and that, of course, is why it is a good community. In the meantime, and this was back in 1956 about that they had started, there was a group of people that were in the community that were working to find a way for children with special needs, mostly those with the IQ of 50 and below, that were not being serviced by the public school, that were not allowed to go to school because of their disability. And they felt that these children also needed to have a place. And so they were working to start a school, a special school for these children. So we were eating supper one night, and the phone rang, and it was Jerry Johnston, and she said that I had been recommended to be the teacher of this new school that they were starting, and would I be interested? And I said, well, I'd like to talk it over with my husband and my children, and who were 3, 2, and 0 at that time. And she said, okay, can you call me back by 7:30, because that's when they were having their meeting. So in less than 3 hours, I made a decision of a lifetime, which I still believe was, you know, pushed by the Lord. And then Dr. Bloom and Man Spittler came over to interview me, and then I met with all of them and we had it at the Spittlers' house, and Susan was 12 years old at the time, had never been to school. And when I walked into the Spittlers' house, Man said, Susan, this is Mrs. Woycik. She's going to be your teacher. And she went, my teacher, my teacher. And she sat right next to me the whole evening and kept saying, my teacher, my teacher. There was no question about what I was going to do with my life at that moment. It was definite that this was what I was going to do. Teaching is a profession that I feel is the most important profession in the world. It's not looked at like that, but none of us would be doing anything if it weren't for teachers. And so I still think it's a profession that's not honored as it should be, certainly financially not. But everybody that goes into teaching knows that ahead of time. And so it's a commitment that you make to children. And it's a great commitment. You know, Special Olympics is a year-round program. There's never a time that our athletes don't have a sport going on that they can choose for themselves. Special Olympics teaches life skills. There's learning, there's socialization, there's you know, learning to share, learning to take care of your own things, being with other people, experiences that are beyond your mommy and daddy's house. The other thing that makes us unique is Special Olympics in Porter County is totally volunteer. There are no paid positions. Everybody, and as long as I'm alive, that's the way it's going to be, because then I know that the people that want to be involved with us are committed to our athletes. They're not there because they'll make an extra $500 for Christmas presents or something like that. They're there because they want to be, and that's very important to our athletes. I don't even let any of my coaches be negative. You can take a negative and make a positive out of it, regardless of what. Instead of saying, no, do it this way, you can say, that was a good try. Now we're going to, even get it better by doing this. And to just see what it means to them to start being, I can do this. And that goes throughout their life then. What they have learned there, just again, is like the mushroom we were talking about Valpo. It mushrooms into the rest of their lives. And when that very first medal or ribbon, when they're standing on the podium to get that, it is just a tearjerker. And I never stop getting, in fact, sitting here and telling you, I feel goosebumps, because it is such a joy to see them, rise above what anybody believed, and I believe in them totally, and hopefully then they believe in themselves. And I've had people say to me, how many kids do you have? And I say, well, when I say my kids, I mean my Special Olympics kids, and there are over 600 of them now in Porter County. But we've had some very, very sad things happen in Special Olympics, and yet we've all together, because we are a family, risen above it and found a positive. And so I would say that probably my positive attitude comes from the joy I feel in life in itself, and that's why I can hopefully rise above any crisis that comes my way.